Hi, welcome to the VWDW channel. I'm Wayne. This is my top 5 craft fair tips that I'm learning as I go along. My first craft fair is tomorrow and I'm terrified that no one's going to like the products that I've been making. So tip number 1 is know your product. Okay, know your product. I've got into making Mickeys and hiding them around everywhere, and my kid said to me, Daddy, we should sell them. And you know what I thought? Rather than giving them away, I'm going to start selling them, which meant I had to invest quite a bit of money to be able to set up and make things professionally. And I'm making things like this. It's going to go blurry now. Resin art, box frames. Ugh. You can't see it. I've done the words greater. They are. See if I can get closer to you. There we go. Now you can see them. It's focused. Yeah, so I'm doing, like, in box frames, I'm doing resin art and I'm pricing them for about £10 to £15 depending on how long they take to make. Resin is a fairly cheap product to work with if you buy it in large quantities, but it's the time it makes. Craft shows are expensive, but they're expensive because they are handmade, and just that simple thing there did take 3 or 4 days to make. And it's the colours, the dyes, the resin, the box frames, and we don't make much overhead on them once they've been backed and glued and everything else. So I know my product, I've been now making them and crafting them, and I know all about them, how to make them, and I've invested time and effort into them, so I've priced them up accordingly. So number 1 is know your product. Number 2, don't go online and fork out a fortune for ways to display your prices, having things displayed. I've just gone online with a thumbnail creator and printed out my own. Made them. Yeah, my own design for what I'm actually doing. Yeah. Don't buy what you don't have to buy. Make your own. It's a craft fair and people will be more impressed. And I'm laughing there because my dog's got the zoomies and she's running around. Yes, that's quite funny. Make your own. The stands these are going to go on are just little bits of wood that I've just sawed a little line into, and they're just going to slot in there. And it's as simple as that. I'll show them to you. I'll add that in a minute. I'll add them in. I've got to cut those out, leave a little bit underneath, and then that's going to be my pricing. So once again, it's not cost me anything to do my pricing. I already know what I'm doing. Excuse me. Yeah, so I've done those easy. Source what you can as cheap as you can. If you have a large cloth to cover your table with, use your own. Don't go out and invest in expensive stuff. Yeah, I've literally invested quite a lot of time and money because I want mine to look good tomorrow, and I want to try and make some money out of this. I won't make any money for the first craft fair. I'll probably just make a few pennies for the first one because I've had to invest so much into doing it and cover the cost of everything for tomorrow. But I know that. But that's my tip number 2 is economise when you can economise. It's a craft fair and people are there to see your product, and don't undersell yourself because what you make is handmade and it's really, really good. But you do need to make some profit on that one. So I'm quite impressed with that. So that's cost me nothing to do that and display my prices. I've shopped around a lot of the pound shops to get things, especially like my boxes that I'm going to be using to carry things in with. Tour boxes, like even my money box I got from the pound shop, it's just a little Tupperware box. I've invested a few pounds into that. Yeah, so try and save money where you can. Number 3, payment. Yes, payment. I have a app on my phone. I'm going to show it to you. This is number 3. You'll like this one. Number 3. I have an app on my phone with a card reader. Okay, card readers. £15 off Amazon. Yeah, they're very cheap. And it's just an app on here. Let's have a look. So it's an app on here. Let's have a look. It's an app. It's that app there. And basically, it's called Square. Square card reader. And download the app and you can use the app. And you can even email people. And it's chip and pin. They just give you a little box. You just download the app. They tap on it. I've already got my prices of everything in there, like bookmarks for £3, resin bookmarks. I just click on the bookmark, it says £3, confirm, and they touch it, job done. And then it says after you've done that, would you like to email a receipt? And you just get their email, and then you just type in their email, and a couple of minutes later they get a receipt. Number 3, good ways to pay. Nowadays most people use contactless, but it's a craft fair, so a lot of people should carry cash. But why miss out on those sales when you could be doing it? Now, I've not done my first craft fair till tomorrow, so I don't know how much I'm going to sell. So I have overstocked. Okay, I have totally overstocked. So I will go through a few of the items that I'm selling, and then once I've done that, I will show you what I'm selling, and I've made enough to cover twice as much as what I think I'm going to sell, because I don't want to run out of stock. And I'm taking a packed lunch because I don't want to waste my profits spending food. There. So yes, that's my tip number 3, is payment. I've taken about £50 in loose change, which I took out my children's money box and then put notes in there and took the coins they've been saving and replaced them with 10s and 20s in there. So I've used that as my change. But I'll take change and take a card reader as well for £15. They take 1.75%. So if you spent 50p on an upgrade for one of my keychains, then they would charge you 1p for that. If you spent £100, they take something like £1.75 out of £100. It really is not going to affect your overheads in any way, shape or form. So that's called Square card reader on Amazon, about £15. Highly recommend that. And you put all your products in there and you can list them, photograph them and email people, and that's really good. So I've covered my payments, so that's number 3 covered. That's going to hopefully make me more money and cover those bases. Okay, number 4, the stock you take. Yeah, I have taken double what I think I'm going to sell, and don't be disappointed if you don't sell it. I'm going tomorrow expecting not to sell much. I'm going to Wimborne tomorrow, and I don't expect to sell much, but I do expect to learn from the experience of doing my first craft fair, and I hope that people like, and I've tried to get word out to friends and family where I'm going to be. I'm going to get some help because I've got an injured shoulder which I can't move at the moment, so, and I have to carry a few boxes in, so I'm going to try and find a way of, I might just have to make extra trips and not overdo it with my shoulder. But the stuff I sell isn't heavy. Yes, and I'm going to now, I think, setup. Yes, let's go to the setup. What am I doing for my setup? I've got a 6 foot by 2.5 foot table, so I'm hoping that's what I get, because that's what I've planned, and I've paid for one with a plug because I'll need it to keep my phone charged and everything else. One thing I have done, which I will show you, is I've set up I don't know, my iPad's not down here. One thing I have done is I've set up a slideshow on my iPad, and I'm just going to put my iPad on the front as well as the prices that I'm cutting out now. Just a tip, keep your iPad running, put it on a slideshow, put your price. I've not vlogged like this for a while, but I'm being quiet because there's lots of people around, and it's really early, so I'm packed up, ready to go to my car boot. Not car boot, my craft fair. Car boot, that's another thing. It's going to be interesting to see how we get on. I'll do a bit of video when I get there. I'm not going to video on the inside because I don't want to intrude on other people's selling. Okay, let's go. So I made it to the craft fair. It's about a 15-minute drive. I want to try and sell locally at the moment. I'm not planning to take over the world. I've got everything ready in what I think I can by watching other YouTubers who've done this, and mainly they're in America, so I don't know how that's going to get on. So we'll wait and see how they whether their advice works over here as well. I think I've got all the bases covered. So I'm going to throw in some pictures, not videos, because I have to respect other sellers don't want to be on camera, and people walking around don't want to be on camera. So I'm going to take some pictures, maybe throw up a little montage now of how I got on, and then we'll come back after we've watched this. Okay, let's go. I sound like my daughter doing that, don't I? Yeah, okay, let's go. So, what did I learn from my first ever craft fair? I actually really enjoyed it. How much money did I make? Nothing. And I did quite a few sales, but it was a lot of money to go in there for the day. The place that was doing the sales didn't have any signposting there to the stalls where I was near the back, and people were just basically going past a room that no one knew I was in. I would have made a lot more money. So I never got around to tip number 5. Tip number 5, don't be disappointed if you don't make any money. I went into this as a learning experience, and what did I learn? I learned a lot. I learned how to set my table up, what I did need, and the type of person I'm trying to sell my product to. Now, only 6 children walked past my stall, but out of the 6 children that walked past my stall, 6 children brought something. Yeah, 6 children who walked past my stall. So I now know that if I go and aim my products at the younger generation, the keychains, the school kids, and make my keychains actual novelties, which is now what I have done, then and I'll show you. Let me very quickly show you. So what I've done is I've made different ones that appeal more to children. So I've got like a white one with paws on, but if you look on the back, I've put ice cream stickers inside them, so they're more like little, something a child at that age would have. The Jubilee's coming up, so I've made myself red, white and blue Jubilee paws, and I've got a show planned for the Jubilee, so I hope to sell one of those. I've got the bumblebees, which have bumblebees in the back. So I've learnt from the experience, and I've improved the product that I'm making. And can I also say that all of my charms, with even like the red, white and blue ones, they actually glow in the dark as well. So they do 3 things. So the stuff that I make actually isn't just looking pretty, it serves a purpose. It actually does something else. So I use a lot of glow resin. So that's what I learned. I learned number 5, don't be upset if you don't sell anything. It's a learning curve. And I hope you like the way I set my table out, but like I said, it was too much of a country older clientele that was coming through, and the cake stand did really good, and a lot of the old art stuff did really good. But I didn't expect to sell much. I made enough money to break even, but it was priceless because I actually had to learn a lot. And I did. I learned a lot. I know where I want to sell, and I pretty much know that the next one I'm going to do pretty well, because I know I've lined up 2 stalls that are free for me to enter into, where there's going to be lots of children, but I do need public liability insurance, which is about £5 a month. It's not that for a couple of £1 million. So you have to be insured to go to these fairs. And the next one is I'll be taking my own tents with me, which I already have, gazebos, and I'm going to see how I get on from there, and I'll keep you guys updated. Hope you liked this top 5. Like I said, I've learnt a lot from doing this, and remember, you don't have to fork out a fortune to do crafts. Resin is a very cheap thing to do, but I've had to learn from scratch. But yeah, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.